A whopping 90% of startups will fail. And there are a lot of reasons for why that could happen, but the reason that I want to talk about is bad copywriting. There's so much power in good copy. It can show you how valuable you are on autopilot so you don't have to keep repeating yourself, turn website visitors and social media lurkers into clients and loyal fans, build your credibility, authority, and subsequently the trust that people have in you. But when your copy focuses too much on features and not enough on benefits, has all kinds of jargon that your audience just doesn't understand, is boring or generic, has no clear value proposition, misses the strategy and heart that makes great copy, and when you're too close to your business, assume your clients will know what you're talking about and are great at your job, but not at selling, you could risk becoming one of those startups that fall into that 90% statistic. So let's fix that. I'm Jamila Mo-Smith, copywriter, content creator, and social media coordinator. For the past 5 years, I've been coming up with cool and creative content ideas, clarifying brand messages, crafting and maintaining iconic brand voices, and writing research-fueled, personality-rich, high-converting copy for female entrepreneurs and BIPOC small businesses. And there are some things that I've noticed and run into repeatedly over the past 5 years that I wanted to address in this video. Because if you're going to start up, you should do it successfully. Before I start, I'm going to say a lot of terms in this video that you might not have heard of before. That's okay. I have a free copywriting fundamentals guide that you can download right now, and it has all the definitions for all the terms that I'm going to say in this video. Because going through every single one is going to take too much time, and you're probably already watching this on 2x speed. Am I right? Here's some copywriting 101 for the startup founder who has to DIY but wants to do it smart. This is the hyphenate. First thing is that you need to know your customers better than they know themselves. Some of the best copy is relevant and resonant with your ideal reader. It speaks to their pains and frustrations, their hopes, their dreams, their patterns, and their habitual behaviors. It uses the language that they use. It answers their objections before they even have to think of them, and it considers their buying behavior as well. Speaking from personal experience, I started booking more of my dream clients when I got specific on who they were and got to know who they were. So before you write any copy, you need to create a persona for your target customer. Their demographic information, their psychographic information, their content preferences, their buying behavior, and the language that they use. Your value proposition is how you communicate the value that you bring to people. But if you can't get clear on that, no one else is going to know why they should choose you. So here's a formula for you to start with. You love a cheat code. And I'll show you my own value proposition just so you can see it in action. Now, it may take you a few tries to really hone in on the best value proposition, and that's okay. You can A/B test a couple just to see which one performs better. Give each value proposition 6 to 12 months to have some breathing room so you can really see how it performs. One problem that I see a lot of people run into is focusing too much on features and not enough on benefits, okay? Features tell people what they get out of something, but benefits sell the actual thing. Now, don't get me wrong, it's important to say that your digital workspace comes with 3 terabytes worth of storage and an AI chatbot, but it's even better to say that you can carry everything that matters and all the answers to your questions in the palm of your hand. So after listing out everything that your product does and how it works, then you can get to what that means for your customer. Next thing that you need to know, sales psychology. Our brains are inundated with information all day, every day, but at the same time, our brains are lazy, so we love a hack whenever we get to see one, like customer reviews, statistics, and brand logos that tell us we can trust you, certifications, awards, and media mentions that tell us you're credible, money-back guarantees, free trials, and FAQs that remove any warning bells above us wanting to buy your thing, and urgency and scarcity that tell us to act now, but you gotta use this ethically and sparingly because people can use it weirdly and you don't wanna look skeevy. So whenever you write something, try and think of psychological techniques and social proof that'll help validate what you're trying to say. For example, when you wanna prove that people like your products and services, you can use customer reviews and UGC videos. And when you wanna prove that you're credible, you can use certifications, media mentions, experience and expertise badges, all that jazz. Now, as a startup, you're going to need copy, but what kind do you need? Well, for one, you need a website because it is one of the first things that people search for. Having a website can increase your credibility and authority, broaden your reach and increase brand awareness, get you more leads and sales in social media, give you a sustainable home for your business where you can link to and from your other digital channels, and give you insight to create better marketing strategies, content, and offers. I wrote a whole blog post that you can actually go read right now that goes into the specific web pages that small businesses need, but for now, let's just get down to brass tacks. First, you need to cover the above the fold essentials. This is anything at the top of the webpage that someone sees before they scroll. It's also called the hero section. It needs a headline, a subhead, an image, and a CTA. And your headline is so important. If the hero section is like the most important piece of real estate on your webpage, the headline is the most important piece of your piece of real estate. A simple and effective formula for a killer headline is problem plus solution plus outcome. That's it, super simple. You also want to think about your navigation copy, okay? The stuff at the top of the web page, it needs to be clear, it needs to be focused, it needs to be concise. And as your site visitor scrolls down your page, likely skimming because let's be real, people only read about like 20% of website copy, you also want to be strategic about where you put your social proof, okay? So every time you say something, you're making a claim. You need social proof to prove that what you said can be backed up. So for example, you have a testimonial. Should it go there or should it go at the top below the hero section? Or should it go at the bottom of the page, right above the last call to action? It's these kinds of questions that's going to make sure that your website is strategic and not just willy-nilly. And on your website, you're probably going to have a product or service page, depending on what kind of brand you are, and you want to create a through line from what your target audience is going through to them buying your product or service. And of course, I've got a formula for you. Client problem, which leads to the solution, which leads to offer features, which leads to offer benefits, which leads to proof, which leads to the CTA. And of course, I've got an example for you. My client's problem is that they're not booking enough clients, and the ones that they are booking are red flags. So the solution would be my website copywriting service. They get all the fixings, but the main benefit is that they can clarify their message, captivate their audience, establish their authority and credibility, attract more dream clients, and book their services more often. I'll have testimonials from past clients to prove that this is true, and the CTA, very simple, book now. Other copy that a startup could have is a newsletter. Now I'm saying could, because you don't need it, but considering the ROI of an email newsletter is $36 for every $1 spent, and it gives you so much better customer acquisition than social media, like leaps and bounds more than social media, a newsletter is a good investment, I would say. However often you send the emails and whatever you're talking about, you want to make sure that you have personalized subject lines that spark curiosity, emails with a hook that's beefy with value and has a call to action, a welcome sequence for when people first sign up, a nurture sequence that keeps them engaged, and sales sequences when you want to convert your subscribers. The last piece of vital copy I think startups should have is social media, specifically pages that build community. We are in a chronically online world. People crave storytelling, they crave community more than ever. So where should you show up online? I'm going to break this down in detail in a separate video where I actually break down my content strategy process, because in that process is where I decide what content platforms that we should be on, whether it's my brand or my client's brand, because there are a few factors to decide, right? What are your business objectives? What do you want people to feel? What do you naturally communicate? What is your brand voice? All that factors in to where you should show up online. For example, if you want to build authority and credibility, get clients and expand your network, LinkedIn and Facebook groups are great for that. Whereas Instagram, Pinterest, and TikTok are better for brand awareness, value-driven education, and community building. Wherever you show up online, you want to be strategic about it. Okay, so what are the best practices for the platform? How can you be consistent with your engagement? How can you naturally integrate conversion tactics so you soft sell instead of cringing from always doing the hard sell? Now, as you're watching this, you're probably looking at your to-do list and it's getting longer and longer and longer. Pause. Let's do some quick copy fixes right now, okay? First, ask yourself, is your value proposition clear within the first 5 seconds? Use the value proposition formula that I mentioned earlier in this video. Write a couple options. We're gonna A/B test them. And I do say we because if you need an outside pair of eyes, you can ask me. I have free 20-minute Pick My Brain sessions available every Friday. You can book it now. The link is in the description. And you can ask me, which value proposition do you think is better? Next question to ask yourself, do you speak to your customers' pain points? If not, ask your past clients and customers what they went through before investing in you. And if you don't have any clients or customers yet, that's okay. You can do research to find out what the typical pain points are for your ideal client. Are your CTAs specific, strategic, and compelling? How do you know they are? Well, they should be action-oriented and tell readers exactly what happens next after they click the button. You want to place them strategically throughout the website. It can be in the hero section, it can be after your value proposition, it can be at the bottom of the web page, and you can try out different options. Again, A/B testing is amazing here, okay? Give yourself 6 to 12 months to try out a CTA, change it, and then see how you do. Are you getting more leads? Are you getting more clicks? That will tell you if a CTA is performing better. Finally, is your copy scannable and easy to read? You want to keep your paragraph short, you want to use bulleted lists, you want to break up chunks of copy with imagery, and you want to keep it simple. That is how you'll keep your copy scannable and easy to read. Another thing I want you to do is to use power words and visceral language, okay? I want you to tap into the 5 human senses: sight, sound, smell, taste, touch. That is going to make your copy more powerful. But also using a mix of high impact words, everyday language, and jargon, industry jargon that they actually know, not stuff that they won't know, because again, we don't want to make assumptions here. Also leaning into emotional triggers like fear, desire, jealousy, urgency, belonging. All that stuff will make your copy more impactful too. Another really important consideration is mobile optimization, because 96% of web usage comes from mobile devices. So to optimize for mobile, you want to have shorter headlines, you want to keep your copy scannable, you want to make sure that your CTAs are easily clickable, you want to make them thumb friendly, okay? Because when someone's holding a phone, can they easily click with their thumb? That's also something that you want to consider. Now, after watching all this, you might be wondering, when is it time to hire someone and when should I stop DIYing? If you have the time, you want to learn how to write good copy, and you just don't have the budget, you should DIY. There are plenty of great copywriting templates out there. I'm actually planning on releasing a bunch of them, and they can help you write good copy. But if you have complex services, a lot of funnels happening, you don't have the time, and you have enough money to hire someone, then I would suggest hiring someone. But honestly, the most important takeaway that I want you to have from this video is that copy is so vital for a startup success, okay? There are so many factors that, influence whether or not a startup is going to do well, but copy should not be underestimated. I really want you to care about it. That's the most important thing I want you to take away from this video. And if you watched all the way to the end, I'm assuming you do.